Hey, welcome back. I am Kristen Wright, creatrix of the Sex Love Revolution. And this is a series about getting confident with your naked body in and out of the bedroom. I'm so glad that you're back for some more of this juicy conversation. Today we're going to talk about taking off the lens that you're using to view your body. So what I want you to do is I want you to actually Google naked bodies. There's a lot of photographers out there now that are doing like body positive movements and taking photos of women in their natural state with no photo editing, no airbrushing, none of that fancy magical like bullshit that makes us feel like bodies only look a certain way. And so I want you to take a look at other women's bodies, like the reality of women's bodies, not just what we're showing in the media or what our culture tells us we need to look like, or our caregivers or our society, but actually the reality, because it can be really easy when all you're looking at is images of bodies in magazines, images of bodies in the movies or on TV, on social media, depending on who you follow, to start to view your body as like an imposter, or to imagine that, all women are walking around with washboard abs and perky breasts and tight butts and no cellulite and really long lean legs and that kind of thing. And so taking off that lens and starting to get comfortable with the array that exists out there in terms of women's bodies, the spectrum. There's a wide spectrum of bodies. And it's really important for you to start to see yourself, view yourself on that spectrum in a really, really healthy way. And now I just want to be clear that loving yourself as you are right now and accepting who you are doesn't mean that you don't get to have the desire to want to make changes in your life. It's just about coming into this place of love and viewing yourself through the lens of love, and then making the changes that you want or reaching for the desires that you want. So say you feel really self-conscious about your tummy, especially when you're naked in the bedroom. It's not that you never get to have the desire to want better for yourself or want a six-pack if that's what your desire is, and that you're going to lose that because you have to love yourself just as you are. But once you can love your body as it is, then you make the changes from a place of wholeness. It's more integrated and it's much more successful when it comes from a place of love versus when it comes from a place of shame. And you're always going to be changing the trajectory of what you desire in your life. That's the beautiful thing. Life is this big old huge thing. Like, you're going to have seasons and cycles in your own life, and the desire is always going to change, and your body is always going to change. But to be able to root into love right now, to be able to start to view your body through the lens of love right now, is really going to set you up on a strong foundation to then feel confident through all of these stages of life, and to feel love for yourself as you make the choice or the decisions in how you want to treat your body. So getting comfortable, Googling naked bodies, and if it's like a vulva that you feel really like insecure about, Googling vulvas. There's really great websites that have like vulvas out there. Googling breasts and starting to take off that lens, because we're so conditioned to think that bodies only exist on this level of perfection because of airbrushing, because of photo editing. And so when you are in the throes of lovemaking and you start to feel really insecure about your body, like your stomach, for example, I want you to think to actually, like, what are you comparing yourself to that moment? Are you feeling insecure and thinking, oh man, I wish I had washboard abs? Then I want you to actually think about how many women in the world have washboard abs versus how many women in the world have really round, curvy, lovely stomachs, luscious stomachs. And also, I want you to root into what is genetically possible for you. So for myself, for a long time, I compared myself to, like, I don't know, let's say like a model figure, you know, tall, really lean, cellulite free, gorgeous, tanned, who knows what else. So I exercised really hard, and I had a really hard relationship with food where I felt shame for every mouthful of food that I swallowed, like whether it was healthy or not. And the reality is, I am a 5'7" curvy woman. I'm never, no matter how hard I exercise or how hard I diet, going to look like a 6'2" model with long, lean limbs. Plus, I live in like the northern hemisphere. I'm not going to be tanned 24/7. So it's just silly how we see these images and they've been given to us so, like, they're in our awareness and our psyche throughout the day constantly, that we almost become brainwashed to how we feel like we need to look.